Well, it could happen to any of us, an unexpected incident that causes your normal life to be interrupted for a time. Are you prepared for 2017? Here to discuss this with us today is our own resident wealth strategist and tax attorney, Rebecca Walser. Good morning.
Good morning, Carly.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
I missed you. I missed you the last couple of times you were here.
That's right, absolutely.
So I think this is a great time, as we're here in the beginning of the year to kind of look, are we ready? We don't like to do this because we don't like to think about worst case scenario, but accidents happen all the time, as you know.
I know, I had one. But before we go there, Carly, I just want to stop and forgive me if I wax philosophical for a moment. But I just want to say at the beginning of the new year, I was just reading a Confucius statement where it says that the man who thinks he can and the man who thinks he can't are both right. And it just hit me so strongly at the beginning of this new year that we really have to mentally say to ourselves, what are we expecting for our life for this new year? And once we see the picture of what we expect to achieve, then we can map out the roadmap to get to what we want to achieve.
That's the key, though, is actually doing something about it. 'Cause
Absolutely.
I feel like a lot of us have the motivation we want to at the beginning of the new year.
Absolutely. So you have to first picture, what is it that 2017 is going to bring for you and your family or whatever goals you have, and then sit down with somebody, whether it's your family, somebody like me, and start to map out the steps.
Okay.
And one of the things to think about in the financial readiness situation is really, short-term planning.
I was just going to ask you, what are we looking at here? So short-term?
Short-term, intermediate term, and certainly long-term.
Okay.
Now, the event that happened to me just 2 months ago is something more of in the emergency term. Like I broke my first bone, was in the hospital, had to actually have, a metal titanium rod implanted. And that was, that took me out of work unexpectedly for a little bit. And these unexpected things can really set anybody back, especially if you miss work. And obviously that could, if you don't have the right proper, coverages. So, we need to make sure everybody has an emergency fund. First and foremost, you need to have a 6-month to 12-month emergency fund. 6 months is on the light side. 12 months means if something
more short term.
That's a really short-term emergency fund. That is our short-term minimum standard. Intermediate term is our goals in the next 5 to 7 years. Long-term is where we start to do 10 years and out planning. And certainly, even if you're in your 20s now, I encourage you, if you're in your 20s, let's start talking about your retirement. Let's start talking about your lifestyle and your standard of living. And let's start now, because it will cost you so much less in your 20s to be really well off in your 60s than it will cost you in your 30s and your 40s and certainly your 50s.
Well, those closer to retirement age, do you still need to have that short-term, middle-term, long-term?
Absolutely.
Same, no matter age, those three?
If you're still working, Carly, and you're still collecting some sort of income before you're retired, you're not retired, and we have to do a plan. We have to account for the unexpected things that can happen, as we know.
I know. And then why now? I mean, is this a good time of year to do that as far as meeting with somebody? And we're still before tax season, before tax deadlines.
Absolutely. It's the best time, because really the beginning of the year, we start all these New Year's resolutions. And of course, at the top of everyone's list is the gym membership and losing 5 pounds, 20 pounds in my case. These are always the top resolutions. But financial resolutions somehow are, the biggest one, I think, is get out of debt. And that's not really a resolution. We need to talk about a lifestyle change there and how we can actually create a plan.
Well, and talk about financial peace of mind, to give yourself a gift for the new year. Is there anything better than knowing that your finances are in order?
I have to tell you, knowing what you want to achieve this year and with your life long term, and then having the steps and a plan mapped out to get there, there is no better assurance. We can't account for everything that could possibly happen, but having a strategy to deal with your life financially and to achieve the goals you want to achieve financially, there is just no more better peace of mind.
And I would be safe to bet, I think people are nervous about what they might find out once they start digging, but I think it's going to be better than what people think it is.
I think that the unknown is always a little bit scary, but once you sit down, and I'm really easy to talk to, can't you tell? You come in and we have some coffee. Once you realize that there are things you can do to really encourage and get yourself where you want to be, then you have to take the steps. Do it before it's too late, because there is a time where it's just a little too late. Don't come when you're 80. It's not going to work out.
Rebecca, thank you so much again.
Carly.
Happy New Year. As
Happy
you said,
New Year.
Call her up. She'll have coffee with you. She's very easy to talk with. There's the website as well to find out more as well.